Enfrenta Podcast.
Hola, ¿qué tal amigos del Economista? El día de hoy nos encontramos en las nuevas oficinas de Qualcomm en México y estamos con un invitado muy especial. Él es Don McGuire, que es vicepresidente senior y además director de marketing de Qualcomm a nivel global. Y pues estamos aquí para platicar con él un poco de la industria de semiconductores, una industria que ahorita está en todos lados y es muy importante para la vida de todos los países prácticamente. Y bueno, voy a pasar al inglés para poder hablar con Don. How are you, Don?
I'm great. How are you?
Great. Thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Mexico City. It's your first time here?
Oh, no. Been here many times.
Oh, great. And I want to start the interview asking you about, in general, about semiconductors. We have been using chips for decades right now.
Sure.
But only in the last maybe 5 or 6 years, this industry have become a strategic industry for the world, for the entire world. What was the challenges, the main changes, and the main lessons that we have learned in the few years since the pandemic and with the AI boom?
Yeah, I think what we learned during the pandemic was that chips really matter. They're really important because they sort of run our digital lives. Or without them, you can't get access to some of the things that are really important to you. And we learned that really firsthand when cars were in short supply and other things because there were no chips. So that's when I think the world really learned about the importance of semiconductors and how they sort of make all these things work in their lives. And since then, we've kind of been on this journey to build a more resilient supply chain, as well as sort of make sure that our customers and the ecosystems that make all these wonderful devices where the chips live have what they need and can serve the needs of their customers. So it's been a quick recovery, which is nice. But even now with the boom of AI, we're also kind of running into some other challenges around memory and things like that. So it's an ongoing sort of evolution. But they're becoming more and more important. So it's going to be important that we're able to deliver for our customers and for their customers.
You talk about memory. We are having troubles regarding memory, DRAM, and things like that. How the industry can fix these supply chain problems and these shortages in the near future? Can we address it?
Yeah, I think it's about diversification of supply chain, right? Having memory being produced in multiple places around the world. And to make sure that forecasting of supply based on technology trends and where we're headed with AI, not only on the data center side, but also on the device side, is going to be really important to make sure that we have that supply of DRAM. And I think it's going to be one of those things that we all learn together as an ecosystem and as an industry. And when we get over that sort of hump, we'll have all the DRAM we need for the end-to-end sort of solutions around things like AI and the future of technology.
Qualcomm is talking a lot about moving AI from the cloud to the devices, or not only on the cloud, but in the devices. What does this mean to people, to organizations, to enterprise? What does it mean in terms of money, in terms of cost, but also in terms of demand and offer in the semiconductor market?
Yeah, I think AI is really going to be, and how we use AI is going to come down to those experiences that it can deliver on behalf of us as humans. It's really sort of a companion, a tool for us as humans to experience different things, to become more productive or more efficient, to become more creative, and to enhance the experiences that we have every day. That can happen in multiple places. That can happen, with processing in the cloud, and that can happen with processing, in your hand. And depending on what the experience is that you're going after, how fast you need it to happen, right? How private and how secure things need to be, then the processing will happen where it needs to happen. So it's going to be a kind of a hybrid world that we live in. And AI is going to happen where it needs to happen to deliver the best experience possible. We obviously have a lot to do with that. And a lot of those experiences are going to be powered by Qualcomm and both our Snapdragon and Dragonwing platforms. And so we're looking forward to bringing those experiences to life around things like personal AI, which is really, really close to the human, physical AI, which is going to manifest itself in cars and robots and things like that, and then enterprise and industrial AI, which is really all about building a better productive workforce in manufacturing and healthcare and retail and across the board. So that's kind of how we look at it.
How do you decide what kind of AI do you need or processing do you need? If you need this Snapdragon to cell phones or laptops, or do you need to charge it in the cloud?
Well, I think if we do our jobs right, that it really won't matter to the user. The user is just getting the output that they need. And then it'll go in the most efficient way possible. And process in the most efficient way possible where it needs to process. AI, there's all this talk about AI in the data center and water resources and energy resources and things like that. If we can put the processing where it's best suited to deliver that experience, will be a more efficient use of technology. And we can actually save those resources and make sure that we're doing it in the most efficient way possible. So that's going to be really important for us as an industry to understand that, so that we don't waste resources, and that we can deliver AI in a compelling way for users, but do it in a very sustainable way. And I think that's going to be important for the whole industry to understand.
Thank you so much. And you talk about supply chains before. I want to ask you, Mexico is right now in the supply chain of North America, and is integrating it more. What do you think is the role Mexico is taking right now in the semiconductor market?
Well, I mean, the U.S. and Mexico have such an interdependent relationship and a synergistic relationship. And Qualcomm being headquartered in San Diego, California, right, which is a border city, we know very, very well how that interdependency works. And the region of San Diego, Tijuana, being the design center of the world and things like that, it's very, very, very synergistic. And so we're very happy about the fact that we've just opened this brand new Mexico City office that we're sitting in. We're extending and expanding our global teams of both intellectual capital and people, as well as our capabilities to deliver our products to the market by leveraging the talent base in addition to our U.S. talent base. And that's really how we think the future looks, between the two countries, and we can leverage each other a lot. So we're really excited about the future and what we're doing here in Mexico City as an extension of our U.S.-based operations.
What do you think Mexico needs to invest right now in? Maybe it's talent, maybe it's infrastructure for integrate himself more into the semiconductor market.
Yeah, I think it's not just Mexico. I think it's everywhere. I think even in the U.S., it's just promoting STEM programs, getting people young, right, interested in science, technology, engineering, math, and so we can build those and develop and nurture those engineers of the future, bringing that accessibility to those programs to more people at a young age, I think is going to really develop the workforce of the future. And then building those kids of today as AI native for tomorrow is also going to be really important. So I think whether you're in San Diego, California, or you're in Mexico City, or you're in Bangalore, India, building and nurturing that STEM, sort of track for people is going to be important for industries like ours and companies like ours to have the best workforce for the future.
If we were sit right here in the next 3 or 5 years, how do you think you will see the Mexico market and semiconductor market and the relation between the three countries, and also the infrastructure and the talent in Mexico?
I think that there's a couple areas. One is consumption. I think as Mexico continues to be sort of excited about technology, I think especially being such a young population, your population is going to be AI native, right? And most Gen Z and Gen Alpha around the world are utilizing AI every day. Whether they know it or they're not, whether they're using it as part of social media or whether they're developing, creating things with it, and they're really not afraid of it. So that's really, really great. So I think having a young population is going to give an advantage in that area. And then I think just making sure that the infrastructure, the talent, the STEM programs, building that workforce of the future is going to be really important for the economic success of any country as we move forward into this sort of AI native world. And I think that's going to be important for Mexico to understand. We love the talent pool here, right? Both creatively as well as technologically. And so as I think Mexico continues to develop its talent and nurture students and put programs in place from a very young age all the way through university, I think it's going to set the country up for success in the future.
Thank you very much for your time and for your comments, and enjoy your visit in Mexico City.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Muchas gracias a todos ustedes, amigos del Economista. Les recomendamos que se suscriban a nuestro canal de YouTube y si les gustó este video que le den me gusta. Nos vemos a la próxima.
El Economista Podcast.